Well, hello, and welcome to another Rombauer Hour. I'm Andrew Holloway, the associate winemaker here at Rombauer Vineyards. And really, for those of you that have joined us before, you'll know that this year we're changing to a quarterly show. So we missed you in January. Last year it was monthly. This year we're doing a new schedule. We have new wines, not really new wines, new vintages though, and really new and improved MC. And don't worry about Richie, he's okay. He's relaxing in Hawaii, having cocktails, I don't know, and getting burned a couple ways.
That's right.
Yeah. And you'll see a regular character next to me.
Hey everyone, Clayton, winemaker here at Rombauer. Making sure Andrew stays in line.
I need some checks.
Yes, that's true. But we've got someone else joining us today, Andrew. Someone that's usually cracking the whip from behind the scenes. So good luck keeping us in check today. Is
not protected.
Alex Evans, or Evans Alex by the end of the show probably.
After a couple bottles of Sauvignon Blanc,
Yes.
most likely.
Probably, yes.
I'm super excited to be here. Again, as Luke mentioned, I'm often behind the scenes. I'm a little nervous because I know I have some big shoes to fill. And I also don't have an Australian accent, so I think that's already a ding against me.
It's all right. We're like it's a better ratio now.
We have the Americans on top, finally. So the other person that we have on here today is somebody I'm thrilled to introduce you to. His name is Chef Jerry Castro, and he's going to be cooking up for us in a little bit. But
well, okay, before we get any further,
Jerry. I was like,
let's get some SB because what would it be without some wine in our glasses? So, can't pour myself first. It's unlucky.
That's right. So this is our just released our 2021 Sauvignon Blanc that we're pouring right now. But yes, so as our guest, we're lucky to have Jerry here and Evans.
Yes. So Jerry, again, I kind of briefly introduced you, but please introduce yourself and show us what's over there.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Rombauer team. I'm Chef Jerry, founder of Castro Catering, and I'm based out in Napa Valley in Sonoma. And I'm really glad to be here to prepare a couple of dishes for you and show you how it's been done and paired with a really good wines. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Okay, so I feel like it's time to unwrap the surprise.
So what we got here is a paella. You can tell it's getting ready for y'all to try. And the cheese is about to be ready.
And I know you can see that steam coming off, but the aromatics on that have been filling basically the whole winery this whole afternoon.
It smells so good. You can smell it from the tasting room, from everywhere.
Yeah, a couple hundred yards away. It's incredible how aromatic that dish is.
So Jerry, can you tell us a little bit about what you've done so far to make it smell that good and look that good?
Really easy. We got Spanish chorizo, we got shrimp, we got clams and mazos, and literally this is one of the dishes you can add anything to the pot and will be just perfect.
Okay, so how did you start making paella in general?
So paella, actually, I started at the CIA back in the day, cooking for the pastry students. And we have our host, well-known world chef, which is Ferran Adrian, and he taught me how to make a delicious paella. And through the years, it's been 20 years now, and I've been mastering it slowly by myself. And I think it's pretty good.
Yeah? Well, we're excited to try it a little bit later. What time did you start cooking it today?
4:30, so it's been already a little bit 35 minutes over.
Okay, it's looking great. If not everybody has such a very glamorous paella pan in their home kitchen, what would you say is how could an average chef make it at home?
Any sauté pan will do the job. Essentially, what you need is just the bigger the pan, you're going to need a bigger side of the burner. So in this case, this, as you can tell, the pan is quite large.
Okay.
The burner as well. So if you have a smaller pan, make sure it fits the burner where you're going to be cooking it. And
I've also read that you can make it on a barbecue or like on open flame, which I think would be
you can.
I mean, I will never do that, but
Me neither.
Andrew, can you come through for us?
Don't take that liberally and say throw anything in there, Luke. Because I know in 35 minutes in, that's not how yours. I mean, granted, that's not how mine's going to look either. Look at that thing.
I love it. He goes, "Oh, it's very easy." I was like, I'm ruined.
This is not difficulty level hard. This is impossible for you.
Wow. Okay. Anyway, let's go back and talk a little bit more about the wine, shall we?
Yeah.
Yes. So Andrew,
Yeah.
without boring people too much
I won't.
today, it is a long weekend coming, so people are excited. People want to be lifted and not bored. So can you just tell us a little bit about this lovely wine in our glasses?
I'll try my best. We'll see. So the 2021 Sauvignon Blanc. So we really bottled this about a month ago. But the biggest thing, I guess I'll go into a little bit of the winemaking. So we're looking for, vibrant fruit flavors, balance of acidity in the vineyard. And the biggest thing that we're looking for is that balance. And so whenever we get to that perfect, like fruit, intense fruit, ripe sugar, nice acid balance, we basically call a pick. So we'll pick overnight or early in the morning, keeping the fruit, fresh, cold, as vibrant as possible.
Also
really
because
preserve.
you just love early mornings,
And
right?
I love early
Okay,
mornings.
that's what I
I
thought
love
was-
waking up, seeing the crack of dawn, and I'm probably not even lying here. I like doing a lot in the morning before the sun comes up.
does.
My wife would kill me if I make too much noise. But so we bring it into the winery, as fresh as possible. Really, that preserves the fruit integrity. And the biggest thing is then to get it into press as quick as possible. So we take it in the bins, they're half-ton bins. We whole cluster press, so it's basically just tipping it into the top of a big bladder press. We put dry ice in there because we really want to get out as much oxygen as possible. We don't want the fruit to oxidize and really, or the phenolics, which is preserving that aromatic intensity on the wine. So we press, and then it goes to a tank. It settles for about 3 to 5 days. And really that's just allowing the solids to settle to the bottom of the tank. The next movement will be, we'll rack it off, either to stainless steel, neutral oak, French oak barrels, or concrete. And really what each one of those elements do is provide a different kind of component to the wine. So the biggest majority is stainless steel. It's about 85%. And really what that does is highlight the aromatic intensity, the freshness, the vibrancy of the wine. Next, it's about 10% of neutral French oak. And really we're not trying to impart any oak flavor there. What we're doing is trying to round out the palate and take away a little bit of austere, high acid that Sauvignon Blanc naturally has. And that final component, which is just 3 to 5%, is concrete. And that adds a similar texture to neutral oak. It doesn't add any oak flavor or anything, it's concrete, but it really fleshes out the mid palate of the wine and adds this textural aspect. So when we blend all three of those together, the majority is still stainless. So we're still getting a very vibrant, fresh, aromatically pleasing wine, but we're adding a little bit of texture and roundness to the palate to really make it that thirst quenching, just I need another sip.
What's the most important bit, Evan?
It's delicious.
There you go.
There you go.
There's the short of it.
Yeah.
Basically, all I said could be summed up in delicious, and just eat, I don't know, just drink it.
You should try that next time.
Yeah, I
No,
should.
It's super important, and then we'll get into a little bit more of why it's so delicious later. But I joined the team last year, so pretty new to Rombauer in general, and I actually didn't know we made a Sauvignon Blanc until starting to work here. And frankly, it's absolutely delicious. Again, probably going to be a theme word for the night. I bring it to parties all the time, and everyone, it just comes up to me and remarks about how good it is. But part of the reason it is so delicious has to do with where we buy our grapes and where we source our vineyards. We go all over Northern California looking for wine regions that are best for the specific varieties that we make. And for Sauvignon Blanc, this happens to be Napa and Sonoma. So Luke, do you want to talk a little bit more about those?
Yeah, sure. So like the Napa County and Sonoma County, so we search for the best vineyards we can, but the vineyards are also similar like spices. Some add a bit more grassiness, some add a bit more lime, some are more rounder on the palate. And so that dual county of Napa and Sonoma and finding that blend really helps us give us another layer in our Sauv Blanc.
Yeah, I think we've even evolved over, when we first made it in 2014, it was purely Napa. And we slowly have shifted to the Sonoma, cooler area. So we still have a lot of Napa fruit still. And we've evolved into this complex, Sonoma, Napa kind of dual county wine. And we've slowly shifted more and more to Sonoma because I think it really reflects and enhances the style of wine that this is. It preserves those aromatics, it lengthens the palate, adds more structure. It's perfect for kind of the kind of wine we're making.
And
No, I was going to say funny you should say that. So we recently acquired a vineyard in Sonoma called Carragher, and a couple weeks ago we took our viticulturist Patrick Tokar out there. So some of you may remember him from past Rombauer Hours. He took us on a little tour, which is kind of elaborating on what both these gentlemen were saying. So let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Patrick Tokar. I'm the viticulturist for Rombauer Vineyards, and I'm here at Carragher Vineyard, our newest vineyard in Sonoma County. This vineyard is our most western vineyard, and it is located about halfway between the Sonoma coast and our Napa Valley winery. We were lucky enough to find a vineyard in Sonoma County that has a nice loam soil with a great gravel content. This allows the water to percolate through the soil, past the roots, and really enable good uptake of water and air through those roots. And we really chose this spot because of its location in Sonoma County. We really like the way that the influence of the bay has coming up the valley, and it really keeps it cool, which makes it an ideal spot for growing Sauvignon Blanc. So here we are at the tail end of winter, and although it looks pretty quiet, we actually have a lot going on. So right now, we have crews that are pruning the vineyard. We also have crews that are looking at the irrigation system and the cover crop to ensure that everything is perfect for the year to come. At the beginning of our rainy season, we actually got quite a bit of rain, and all the way through December. So it really filled up our soil profile, giving us a good start to the year. In Napa Valley, we tend to see a little warmer temperatures, which creates more of the tropical flavor profile. While here at the Carragher Vineyard, we're expected to see a greener, grassier fruit profile because of its cool temperatures. Like all of the wines in the Rombauer portfolio, the quality of wine is super important to us. That is why we chose this vineyard to help give us that signature flavor profile in our Sauvignon Blanc. We're really proud of our Sauvignon Blanc, and we can't wait for you to try it. Back to you, Andrew and Luke.
And Evans, yeah. This
Nice
guy,
one, Patrick.
regular
Get Evans.
Yeah, regular comedian.
Yeah, that guy.
I remember him from like last year when he was like, "Don't you have a question?"
Yeah, special comments guy. But no, we're very lucky that the Rombauer family is looking into these long-term investments of finding the right properties, the right vineyards for us to play with basically in the cellar once their fruit comes in. But it's great to be able to control a lot of things in the vineyard as well. You know, starting from the roots all the way to the bottle. It gives us greater control from the amount of tonnage we want.
Canopy management.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you don't sacrifice any quality. You know, no corners being cut. Working with a grower, you know, you have complete control. And so anything that you're looking for, you really can dial it into that year and how the fruit is reacting, especially to what you're seeing coming in weather-wise.
So basically, the pressure's on Patrick to make sure he gives us, deliver us great fruit.
But we are one team, and as part of that, can you explain what Patrick was talking about when he said little grassy green notes?
Yeah, so you know, when Patrick touched on something that's really important, I think, for Sauvignon Blanc for varietal, and something that we really take in account for when we're making the wine, and that's that grassy note. And you know, people think of a green kind of note as a negative in wine, but it's an inherent varietal character of Sauvignon Blanc. And that green note, you know, it can be very overt in certain areas of the world that grow Sauvignon Blanc. We like to have it in a subtle kind of background note to just kind of highlight and give a little bit more aromatic complexity to the fruit. So, you know, when we're looking at Sonoma, we're looking at, you know, grapefruit, gooseberry, some white peach. Here we're looking in Napa, we're looking at more tropical flavors, rounder, richer, bigger fruits. But I like to think of that green, grassy note, and really for us, it's that fresh cut grass. It's just like in cooking, and just like here, we'll see later in the paella, you know, adding herbs, you know, mint, cilantro, parsley, they're giving that aromatic complexity and adding another layer to a dish. It's the same in the wine. It's adding, you know, this aromatic complexity. It's like, it's not just simple fruit. There's a lot going on in the background as well as on the palate, and it brings this like incredible freshness, complexity, and vibrancy to the wine. And so I think it's something that is always necessary in Sauvignon Blanc because it touches on the best aspects of the grapes.
So I'm not going to speak for Luke here, but I think he's hungry.
My tummy rumbling?
Yeah, just a little. So
that shirt was starting to get loose.
Anyway, I'm also the one standing right next to the food, and Jerry has been doing some spectacular things for us. So I think it's time that we start getting a little tasting and see what kind of pairings we have. So, gentlemen, if I can pass this down down to Andrew.
What have we got going here, Jerry?
So right on the left side, we have one of our
My left side, yeah.
guacamole, which guacamole is one of my favorite dishes, and I thought will pair really well with your Sauvignon Blanc. You know, my guacamole is really simple. It is literally lime, and I use lemon instead of lime. I don't use onion or tomato, so I just straight avocados, lemon juice, extra virgin olive oil.
I told you he
and
was hungry.
avocados, and that's pretty much it.
All right.
Super simple. And you serve it on a nice crusty tortilla chip that are homemade.
Us. I better eat some.
And on the right, we have, if you don't like avocados.
I want to keep talking about the guacamole for a second. I'm sorry, it's so delicious.
Play another video so we can eat it quick. No, it's really good, especially with the lemon in it. It's really zesty. It was really nice.
Yeah, it's vibrant with the wine. You know, it's playing on that acidity. You know, it has the acidity of the wine to cut through the creamy, rich fatness of the avocado. But again, you know, cilantro, just like most dishes, when you're adding an herb, it makes it pop, and it pairs super well with Sauvignon Blanc. You know, the aromatic complexities kind of tie in together, and I mean, it's, you know, it seems really simple, but it's incredible.
Hey, nothing wrong with simple.
No,
This is my sort of dish.
no, it is. I mean, it's highlighting the best ingredients.
Yeah, no, that's
I mean,
good.
that's the whole point.
Andrew, if you make this at home, what would you do differently to your guacamole?
Well, I think, you know, I like, I mean, this is pretty incredible. You know, I like spice, and I don't like raw jalapenos as much, so I always do a fire roasted jalapeno, scrape off the black outsides, and then dice that up. Discard the seeds because the house can't handle too much spice.
Get in trouble for
Yeah, and then we put that in. You know, sometimes tomatoes, but really, you know, if I just had some jalapeno on this, it's already awesome. And then, I don't know, on top of some tacos, it'd be pretty hard to beat.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
I mean, when do you think of guacamole and Sauvignon Blanc?
So one of the
Evans.
reasons, my reason has nothing to do with food or wine necessarily. However, I associate both Sauvignon Blanc and guacamole with outdoor summertime activities, and so to me, they're just the perfect pairing because they instantly channel those memories. And again, one of my favorite ways to entertain and hang out. So can't beat it. Can't beat it.
No. And I mean, this is kind of a Luke level, you know, difficulty of cooking.
Entry level.
Smash.
Smash. Bam, bam. Yes, yes. Thanks, Andrew.
No
Well,
worries.
let's
But
now-
it is a star favorite here too.
It is.
Crispy and guacamole.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
Let's move on to the slightly more complicated one, shall we? What's on the right, Jerry?
So on the right, we have our pineapple slash mango salsa.
Okay, it looks delicious.
It's also really simple. You're not a fan of avocado? I have another dish for you. Bell peppers, chives, red onion, lemon juice, lime, whatever you prefer, an extra virgin olive oil, and season it with your pepper and salt. That's pretty much super simple. And, you know, festive, delicious. You can have a big bowl in the middle of the table. Everybody's dipping a chip,
Yeah.
drinking some delicious wine.
Makes for a great dinner party. I mean, and it highlights those you know, it brings out more of the tropical notes on the Sauvignon Blanc. Whereas, you know, I think the other side brings more of the herbaceous notes. You get more of the stone fruit, whereas this highlights tropical notes because of what you've had right before. And so it's an interesting dynamic. I mean, it's simple, but plays with your tastes in an incredibly complex way.
And it's also pretty, I mean, Jerry was talking about just eating it plain or with some chips, but Andrew, you said
Yeah.
earlier,
On top of fish,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
especially a fish taco. Just like, you know, keeping to this
speaking my
theme.
language.
I mean, you know, grilled
spoon
fish
out
taco
of the
or a
bowl.
spoon.
Yeah,
pine-
it's a chip. Come on.
Pineapple is that homage for Richie in Hawaii.
Yeah,
yes.
that's what it is.
We are
It's a
channeling you,
shout
my
out
friend.
back.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have some Alan comments back on the
I'm sure we're
on the
getting.
feed.
I'm sure he's trying to burn us.
Okay, I think we're probably getting ready for the paella. It's looking pretty good, Jerry.
It is ready. It's
Yeah?
ready to eat.
What
It's
are-
been rested for about 10 minutes.
Okay, what are the last things? It looks a lot more colorful.
So this
Than
is
it
where I
did.
start getting excited. So I went down to the hill, and you know, if you come to the beautiful Napa Valley right now, you find this beautiful mustard. You got fava sprouts or tendrils, and that's what I went and picked. And I want to add that to the paella on top for a little bit of garnish. And I want to finish it up with a little bit of parsley and extra virgin olive oil. And then we're just going to be ready to serve.
Okay, looking forward to it.
Yeah, excuse me, I was eating again.
Surprise, surprise.
Can't help yourself.
It's been a couple of hours. Oh, look at that. That was great.
I know. That's not really how I finish my dishes. It's way too pretty.
Yeah. It's not nearly burned enough for my
I
dishes.
know.
So,
It's incredible. And to make like a big platter like that, you know, an overhead shot, it would look like a piece of art.
it would, actually.
Yeah, it would look like a piece of art, John.
All right.
And when you hire Chef Castro to come and make you paella.
True. My favorite
Yeah.
food is the food I don't have to make myself. So I fully admit that. I think we're going to
Yeah, no,
use the same.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, something that we should mention before I forget, because I know I will, is all of these recipes are available online at rombauer.com. So if you want to make these at home, you know, the guacamole, the salsa, obviously paella, can't go wrong with that. You can all find them at rombauer.com.
Yes,
as well.
thank you. Ooh, we get
And
the
look at
big, we get
this.
the big dinner plates.
No
Fabulous.
grades.
To elaborate on what Andrew was saying earlier, we have versions of them online, not the
versions,
exact
yes.
same one. Because again, there's things that you could really incorporate your own twist to it. We also have a lot of other recipes, as hopefully you have been to rombauer.com and checked out the recipe section. But okay. Oh, hold on,
This is like
hold
the
on.
first one I've been on that I've actually
Thank
had to-
you.
I know. Normally we
right,
show
one
up and
second,
it's
I'm gonna
like
grab-
talking about it, and I'll just imagine eating,
Imagine,
and by the end of it, I'll faint.
yeah, imagine that lamb chop.
Look at that.
Here's a fork.
That looks
Sorry.
incredible.
As much as I know you would go straight to the face, I feel like that's not quite the best look. Thank you.
Straight to the face.
I mean,
And there are these different types of mussels on here.
So mussels and clams.
Yeah.
Wild Gulf, from the Gulf of Mexico, shrimp.
Yep.
And one of the most important thing about the paella and what is so hard to make, it's all about technique. And what it is, what I mean is like you have to get this beautiful golden part in the bottom. That's called the socrat. In English, it translates to suquette.
I didn't even know that was a word in English.
Yeah,
So
it is.
good to know.
And that
Yes.
is what makes a perfect pairing.
Well,
the
perfect.
crunchy at the bottom,
Yeah.
and the flavors of the chorizo, the chicken. Traditionally, it's been made with rabbit, but I love bunny, so I don't want to.
I appreciate that. But you also, as we start eating and have a couple bites, you mentioned some of the ingredients that are one of the reasons why this is so good with our Sauvignon Blanc. Andrew, do you want to expand on?
Well, yeah, as we were speaking earlier, you're making it that first time, when the chef came up and said, "What do you do at the end of it?" And what is the most important finishing aspect of it in your mind?
Honestly, it's the presentation, because once it comes to your plate, you eat with your eyes.
Yeah.
Then that's when you taste it. That's when it is. So the chef, what he taught me is like, before you go out, whether it's a party, a date, whatever it is, what is the last thing you do? Is like, well, look in the mirror, or I don't know. So think about, you put cologne on and say yes. For a lady, will be makeup, make sure their hair looks good, and that's exactly the same thing. It goes to the food.
Yeah.
Wine, you taste, make sure the finishing is the most important key. Yeah. And besides that, makes it look beautiful and gives more flavor.
One of my favorite things also is that paella is clearly a dish that's meant for sharing, and that is so core to the Rombauer philosophy about everything. It's bringing people together. And to me, the Sauvignon Blanc goes super well with the paella, because the paella is a very rich, lots of complexity, a little fatty because there's the chorizo in it.
Chorizo.
Yeah, correct? Chorizo, chicken. Oh gosh, the layers. And the Sauvignon Blanc really cuts through that in a beautiful way.
Yeah, especially with the shrimp and that salty brininess, it really highlights and brings that freshness of the acidity. It's a really it's a balance. It's not the same, but they're complementary in that same sense.
Yeah.
So it's a neat pairing, and it's I could eat like 8 bowls of this.
I know.
And the only reason I'm
trying to be
not
slight.
finishing, I know the only reason I'm not finishing it right now is like, I better not chow down.
Luke hasn't said much, but his bowl's empty.
Another thing also, if you have extra paella in the morning, what I do, I usually crack an egg on top,
Oh, yeah.
flash it in the oven.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. You can add hot sauce on it, over it. It's delicious.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
Probably the extent of my cooking, so I feel like I can accomplish that.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I mean, and speaking of hot sauce, and thinking about like spice of this dish, I mean, what else do you think?
What else?
What else could you?
What else?
It's too easy. It's like a tee up.
Well, yeah, like we're pretty much out of Sauv Blanc, so which usually happens when cooking. You run out of the white wine.
Yeah.
And so we actually, lucky enough, have our classic Zinfandel that we compare with it tonight to see how it goes with it. Excuse me one second.
I know.
Yeah.
We were too busy enjoying the pairing, so we need to finish the wine.
Maybe this is why they never let us eat. We get distracted by the food instead of actually.
It's too many tasks for our brains.
Yeah. What are we doing?
Thank you.
Hey, Chef Jerry, thank you so much
Thank you
for
so much.
Thank you.
doing
Thanks,
that. It's been
incredible.
awesome. All the people at home hopefully are very
you.
jealous of us. But yeah, so let's try a bit of this with a bit of food and.
Yeah, so
See
I mean,
how-
right off the back, I mean, Zinfandel has bigger, brighter fruits. It's big, jammy fruits. It has a little bit of spice on the back end. It can really stand up to almost anything. Generally when I think of Zinfandel, I think of barbecue. But when I think of this kind of smoked flavor of the chorizo, the fattiness, and really standing up to a dish, being like kind of on level, this really, it's funny because they're kind of night and day wines, but they both work really well with this dish because Sauvignon Blanc comes at a different angle of freshness cutting through it, whereas Zinfandel stands up to it and kind of goes like blow for blow, but works perfectly with it.
Plays on it differently. That's
It does.
cool.
It brings out different flavors, and it brings out more of a smokiness and that you know, the sweetness of the fruit. Like it's a really interesting combination.
So since we were earlier talking, well, obviously this is not something you're necessarily going to be making inside. Is there any way that you would suggest serving the Zinfandel if you're outside on kind of like a hot summer day with Sauvignon Blanc, guacamole?
Yeah, I mean, one of my biggest pet peeves on red wine is always served too warm. You know, especially when you're outside. You know, it can be in the sun. Those wines can instantly get up to, you know, 75, 80, 85, even warmer pretty quickly. So I like to serve them, you know, on the outside of the ice, kind of like in the fridge for about 20 minutes, kind of like that 50, 55 degree range. So there's a slight chill on them. So as you're drinking, you know, they're warming up a little bit, but they're still staying at like a perfect cellar temperature. And that will really, you know, highlight the fruit, really make the wine seem, you know, elegant, bring a plushness to it. And you know, temperature is so key for wine. I mean, kind of on every varietal.
That's what we did today. And
well, that's what this is. This is like a perfect temperature.
Perfect.
I mean, it's probably like 50, you know, 55 degrees, and it's.
I think it's actually 56. If I were.
Get
You
the
had
heat
the laser
going.
gun out. I know you had the laser gun out.
I mean, I've been next to the paella, so it could be that too. So who knows?
Well, and it can actually, you know, Zinfandel, you know, this works incredibly well, but it can stand up to a variety of dishes, even some really simple ones.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, funny you should say. I earlier this week, Better Home and Gardens magazine named our Zinfandel as a perfect pairing with Hershey's Kisses, which I know these gentlemen, you know, stay up night late reading the magazine. But we were very thankful to be
Andrew
included.
does.
I more so start my day with kisses.
Of course you do. Yes. But another sweet pairing that we actually featured last year in Rombauer Hour came from this man's lovely wife.
Yeah, not me, my wife.
Yeah,
That's right.
no,
Yes.
this guy, like you're making desserts.
Yeah.
No, but
I mean,
back having the wives on the dessert edition.
Yes.
Yeah, that was fun.
You know, Luke's wife made the chocolate cupcakes. You know, you can make a chocolate cake as well.
Yeah.
But really, chocolate and Zinfandel. I mean, you think of, you know, chocolate covered strawberries, chocolate covered fruit. That's what you basically we're playing into
Chocolate
here.
coated strawberries. That would have been Valentine's Day. Come on, we should have
You
known
know what?
earlier.
Next year,
Next-
so you have time to forget already.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Just rewatch it again.
But I mean, chocolate and Zinfandel kind of. I mean, it's amazing how well they pair together. You know, you have this sweet big fruits. You know, the chocolate, kind of that, especially like a more bittersweet chocolate.
Yeah.
It's incredible how well they play together, and
Well,
the flavors are hard to beat.
I'm just saying that if Kristen happens to make that cake again, there's a lot of team members at Rombauer that will not be mad about it.
Yeah.
My wink is quite captured well enough, so please pass on
Yes,
the wink.
I will.
Okay.
I will.
Jerry, I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of all of us. This has been really fun. Again, this has been probably the tastiest Rombauer hour, arguably, but well, maybe not arguably, that we've done to date. So we really appreciate you spending your time with us and sharing all of these beautiful recipes.
Alex, thank you so much. It was an honor to be here and sharing with all of you. I leave you paella and guacamole and pineapple salsa.
The team is coming
awesome.
down to have a feast in a couple minutes. So I think I hear them coming down already.
We're going to make good
Yeah.
use
We
of
have
that.
this still
And I'm
that we
going to have
have
like
to
thirds
finish.
before I get down there.
Hey, please come down soon, or otherwise Andrew will eat all of it.
So do you have a favorite pairing for tonight, mate?
I can't go different with paella. You know, and it always reminds me. You know, I've made paella maybe twice at the house, not as incredible as this actually.
That's 2 times
He's so
more than us.
He's so fancy. Isn't he?
But I made it twice. You know, the last time, you know, our viticulturalist Patrick has this incredible paella pan. Not as big and flashy as that one, but I texted him right before this. I said, Patrick, if you find another one, I need it, because now I'm inspired. I need to make this a couple times.
Yeah. Definitely.
And so paella is
Let me
for sure.
know.
And what are you feeling?
Guacamole and
Yeah.
the SB. Actually, and the pineapple salsa was really good too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, things that you can handle.
Keep it simple, Andrew.
Yeah.
How about you, Evans?
You know what, I'll make this, and then you can do those. Yeah, Evans, what was
I actually love the pineapple salsa. I think that's something that I can see just eating in so many different ways, as you were talking earlier. And it's something that I can do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm better than Luke, but
Yeah.
not quite on
we
your
got
level,
the mild.
so. Yeah, exactly.
You know, what else, I was thinking about that is if you added some like chilies and made like a spicy, you know, kind of the mango pineapple salsa, that would be really cool as well. Just to highlight another flavor, and I think would obviously go perfectly well with the sweet fruits of the Sauvignon Blanc.
Delicious.
So yeah, it's
I'm available to come over for dinner.
Yeah. I mean, we could run this back and do it again.
Okay, perfect. Yes.
All right, Hollybags, we lost our place.
No, yeah, I might find it.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, this is the first one of the new year. We missed January as we're doing our new quarterly Rombauer Hours, and so we really look forward to doing the next one, which I think is
May 19th.
and will be featuring what was that?
I don't know. Let's go. I think Cabernet Sauvignon.
You think
will be
so?
awesome. Yeah, I think so.
Up top.
Get out of here. Oh, here comes the crowd now.
It's going to be great. It's always
Yeah.
so fun for us to be able to connect with you guys. Thank you again every time you tune in. It means the world, especially all around the country. We love seeing people in Pennsylvania and Florida, and the fact that you put
Chile.
up with Chile. Yes.
Well, I mean, and the interactions. I mean, the amount.
Yeah.
The old interns that pop up. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Or wherever Bello is nowadays.
Yeah, I don't know where it is.
It's so fun. So, gentlemen,
Thank you. Thank you, Chef.
Cheers.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
Incredible
Cheers.
job.
we'll see you
We're not
next
gonna
time.
leave hungry.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
thank you.
Cheers.